Hello and happy, beautiful day to you. Welcome back. On today's episode, I want to share with you a few key insights that keep people stuck when it comes to reprogramming your subconscious mind and what you want to do. Just some key insights that can help you to be more successful with it, because so often I'll see people who they're stuck for this very reason. It's like they start to understand healing with the mind, or in mind-body healing, or transformation, or manifesting, or whatever you want to call it. They start to really understand, or they've been even doing it for many, 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 many years, working with the power of the mind, and yet they're not getting the results that they want. I see it so often. And so some of the stuck places are they may seem insignificant, and yet I can't tell you how often I've seen people stuck because of them. They just the insights. And, if way to think about it is, when you stop and think about the human brain, it is more complex than a computer. And we all know if we're typing in the wrong input to a computer, it can keep us stuck. We're not going to get the result that we want. And so the same is true with our minds. If we're not really putting the right input in, we can stay stuck. And I did that during my injury for many, many years. I was not doing it right. So I'm not judging. I know firsthand what that feels like, but that's the insight that I want to share with you, because even recently, even in yesterday, there was an email that came into the inbox, into my support team, where somebody said, they've been working with the mind for a really, really long time, and they're feeling stuck, and they went on to talk about the subconscious mind, and in this email he says, I know that the subconscious mind doesn't understand, don't, etc. And my point is maybe you've heard that before, where people say, I don't know where it originated, but people will say, oh, the subconscious mind doesn't understand, don't do this, it doesn't understand that. But that's not accurate, and that can keep you stuck. And there's multiple reasons why that is. And so that's kind of what I want to unpack, because just like this email came in that, where this gentleman said, the subconscious mind doesn't understand, don't. So then he mentioned all of the things he'd been trying to do, etc. And that he was feeling stuck, and he was wondering, would my program work for him or help him, or a different approach? And so I just want to provide this insight for you, is that throughout the years, I've heard people say that very thing, like the subconscious mind doesn't understand, don't. But it does, and it doesn't, and it does. And this is what I mean, is that the subconscious mind actually really, what influences it the most is emotions. So if you say to a child, don't cross the street, don't go into the street, they know what you mean. And the word don't sticks, it works. Somebody says, like to a young child, don't touch the oven, it's hot, don't touch. The child does not hear, touch the oven. Or when it comes to don't go into the street, the child doesn't hear, go into the street. But so they hear the word don't. And the reason that I'm saying this is because what happens is that so often people get so stuck in their head in an analytical way when it comes to working with the subconscious mind, that it keeps them from getting results, because they're trying to be so analytical, and it keeps them from the emotion. And that's the real influence, is the emotion that creates that change. Now, let me give you an example. We can have mixed emotions. We can have mixed programming. We can have logical information that stays in the mind, but our emotional programming that influences. And an example is this. Let's say somebody consciously knows they shouldn't eat something. They've consciously decided they shouldn't eat it. Well, if they remember it, like it's in their subconscious mind, they know they consciously shouldn't eat it. But then maybe their emotional wiring says something different, and they end up eating what they feel like they shouldn't be eating, because the emotion is more powerful. And that's the way you want to think about it, is that we can get information in the subconscious mind, but emotions are the driver. And they'll really create whatever outcome that you're working on, whether it's healing, transforming, love, relationship, connection. The emotion is the key. Now, let me give you another example. Even if we take a simple example, I grew up hearing, don't do drugs. And my mind heard the word, don't do drugs. That got locked into my mind. I didn't want to do drugs. That got locked in. Now, it's not like my mind heard, do drugs, because the word don't doesn't exist. No, my mind heard, don't do drugs, but it heard it, not only the information, but the emotion behind it. And so the word don't can influence your subconscious mind. Now, if we think about it for a moment, so if you've heard this before, the word don't doesn't work. There can be cases where it doesn't work. For example, if somebody says something like this, don't worry or don't stress, and they're really stressed out, well, of course, that feeling is the feeling. So if it says, don't worry, and it's all this feelings of worry, well, that's what it's really feeling. It's not whether it's do or don't. It's getting the feeling linked up. And so that's the insight that you'll want to really think about, because so often we can get all kinds of things mixed into the subconscious mind. But the thing that's going to really influence it is where the emotions are. And of course, emotions can be extremely counterintuitive. And so sometimes you can feel very, very stuck. Now, the reason that I highlight this particular email is because I've probably heard this like 1,000 times over the last decade, where people message in for some reason, or they're working with their subconscious mind and they're like, but the subconscious mind doesn't hear don't. And it's like, but that's not true. And not only that, but it keeps them stuck because they're so stuck in their analytical mind. And a way to think about it is like this, is that let's say somebody's falling in love, and they're falling in love, and they say, I wonder what love feels like. I wonder what the chemistry of love is. I wonder and so there's so much in their mind. What happens to those loving feelings? They start to push away the feelings because they're so stuck in their head. So they're going, I wonder what love is. I wonder if this. I wonder if that. I wonder. Well, in that moment, they're going to have less of the emotion. And so the same thing happens with the subconscious mind. People do that same thing. I should program my subconscious mind. I should not say the word don't. I should say this. I should say. So they're literally so in their mind about programming their subconscious mind that they're not tapping into the emotions, and it's keeping them stuck. And so that's what you want to think about is that even using this example of don't. I mean, if you tell a child, don't touch the stove, hot, they hear the word don't. It's not like they hear, I should touch the stove. They hear the word don't because they feel it. And so that's what I want to invite you to look at in your life, is that where are you getting emotions linked up? What emotions are stored in your subconscious mind? What emotions are driving you? Because that's ultimately the key, is really programming our subconscious mind with the right emotions and the right emotional links, and at a deeper level. Now, getting good at emotions is going to be key, which is, interesting for a lot of us. I know me personally, if you know my story, I mean, I literally worked in network engineering operations. So I used to work very much in the corporate world, and that was over 20 years ago now. But in that environment, there were sayings like, leave your emotions at the door. You weren't supposed to be emotional. And I grew up with that awareness. Emotions were weak, and suppress them and get rid of them and all of those things. And then we start to realize, wait a second, emotions are really powerful. They're actually driving our entire lives. And so getting good at your emotions, because emotions are your energy, are affecting your health, your life, your relationships, your happiness. And so that's how I had grown up, was just getting really good at suppressing them. So I thought that I wasn't feeling them. And so those can be there too in the subconscious mind, and changing those is key as well. So even if we've suppressed them, we still need to fix those. But again, the problem that I want to highlight is that a lot of people are approaching the subconscious mind in a way of thinking a lot and not getting good at their emotions. So then they go, well, the subconscious mind doesn't register don't, and then we need to do this and we need to do, and it's like, well, wait a second. We need to master emotions, because when we can get emotions in our subconscious mind of happiness, of love, of joy, of, and clearing out emotions of depression and negativity or things that are keeping the mind stuck, that's when we create a real transformation. That's when I've seen people literally heal themselves, change their lives, fall in love, step into success, step into even more joy, happiness, love, everything. It's healing. It's transformative. And so that's this simple but powerful insight that I want to share with you today. And of course, by the way, if you are somebody who is working on healing yourself, come join my free training if you want to understand it even more. But that's the insight that I wanted to share with you today regarding the subconscious mind, and just where I see so many people getting stuck and what you can do to start creating that change, getting good at emotions, getting good at getting those in, getting them with repetition, getting that programming in and reinforcing them at a deeper level. Just a simple but powerful insight. All right. So that's today's quick IQ episode. And as always, I want to ask you to take just a quick moment to hit the share button on this episode. Share it with somebody you love, somebody you care about, or somebody you don't even know, because the more that every single person in our world feels happy and healthy and loved and loving, the better this world is for all of us. And so please do take a moment to hit the share button, and please do make a point to have an incredible rest of your day. And I look forward to connecting with you on the next episode. We'll see you there.